On this episode, we're going to figure out what to do with this front bumper. I duplicated the bracket for the other side. And again, this is level and this is 2 degrees. I don't know if it matters, but what I want is the way this angle is when the 1 inch comes out, however far, it's going to be lined up in the middle of that slot on that lower piece. And that's going to help center my bumper where I want it. I'll have a little bit of adjustment right here because we're going to have to weld this piece on. And I think it's going to work. And then what I plan to do is I can drill here and here, right? Because I have access underneath. And then I can put rivet nuts in this. And then once I get it set, I'll mark it. We can line it up, drill it, secure it. That way it doesn't, because there's a little bit of play in here. That way it doesn't rattle or bounce. The other thing I was thinking is you could buy a nut that's big enough that goes in here, drill, slide the nut in, bolt it, and you wouldn't have to hold the nut while you're tightening it. But then the nut's going to slide out and fall when you take it out, you know. So probably rivet nuts. I can get 5/16 in there. That'll be big enough. But I need my piece that mounts on the inside of the bumper. And so again, this is 1/8 inch. This is 1.5 inch flat bar. It'll be big enough for me to drill a 1/2 inch hole in. And we're gonna bend this and the other end to fit on there without much too sticky outy. And then I'll probably try to round it to match the curvature of the inside of the bumper. Doesn't really need it, but it kind of does, because otherwise you're going to get a push flat spot. I don't want anything bending. This is probably thin enough that it will bend and conform with the pressure of the bolt and the nut, but we'll have to see. It may need a little bit of massaging. So based upon the bolt width, this is going to be 19, and that's going to give me about 1 inch of overhang, so we can slot that out so we can get the proper alignment. And I've had this for a couple of years now, and I like it a lot better than the corded one because it starts slower. And I have 3 of the electric ones. And normally I just have one of these and one of those and one of those all mounted up, and I switch them all out. But I think going forward, I'm going to switch to all battery. It works better. So this bumper is pretty light. Maybe 15 pounds. I don't know what it's made out of, but it rusts, so it must be some sort of iron. And it's in good shape. I mean, other than it needs, you know, refinishing, chrome. But that's not a problem. We'll get it chromed. It's not going to be on there for crash protection. I don't think it was ever designed for that. If you crash this truck, you're going to ruin it. That's just the way it goes. There's no crumple zones. There's no safety features other than a seat belt that we're going to have to install because it didn't come with one. So, you know, it's only going on there for the look. It might as well be made out of fiberglass. Let me find a spot to work. I think this is a good spot to work. Yeah, you can see that. Okay, cool. So this is just going to mount like this. Probably should. Well, there's some scratch marks on there, so that's good. And then maybe we can just duplicate it on the other side. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing. I just make this up as I go along. So it's just the way it goes. So there's a little bit of springiness in there. Might work like a bumper after all. I'm going to give you a 1 mile per hour rating. So these are not going to be interchangeable and they're going to be directional. So we're going to need to mark it. And we're going to be welding somewhere on here, so probably further away from, I don't know. We'll put it over here. How's that? So for right now, I'm reusing the old bolts that were in the bumper. So give me a minute. They're all gnarled up. I gotta run a die. I gotta run a die over them. These are 7/16, and I thought they were 1/2 inch. That's my fault. So we're gonna have a little bit of wiggle room right here. Let's say about 1/8. And then I found I had some of these, so they fit. But I don't have any washers, so I'm going to borrow these real quick. These are 1/2 inch and they're hideous, but they'll work for now. We'll get all new hardware. So I marked my bumper with an up arrow, so I know which way is up. But I also know it because the GMC is upside down. And then we marked this, so now we know driver up. So this is going to go over here. And these don't actually hold very well, but we can squish them in here and they'll be just fine for now. I don't know if that matters. It's about the same. I could probably come up and down, but I don't know if that matters yet. I think the hard part is going to be tacking that square tube onto this. We'll cut them long, pull it out, get our bumper set right. We're going to have to probably put a little angle on this. Give me enough space to hit it, push it in, cut it off. We'll see. Okay, so second verse, same as the first, only the same, but different. Y'all have seen this before, so I'm just gonna time lapse the whole thing.